Well, guys, it is Thanksgiving weekend, so that means NFL regular season is almost to an end. We got a few more weeks left, but that's not going to stop us from making any money. Last week in week 12, I went 9-4 in all my predictions, and my best bets went 2-1, and my honorable mentions went 2-0. So for week 12, it was a profitable week. It was a great profitable week for me. Hopefully, it was a profitable week for you. So let's hope we continue this in week 13. If you guys haven't watched my YouTube shorts or my TikToks yet, I went already 3-1 for my Thanksgiving games. The only game I missed was the Lions and Bears. Thank you, Lions, for laying an egg in the second half. I thought they had it, but nope, they didn't. They let the Bears score 20 points, and they almost let the Bears win the whole game. But the Bears, like always, they shot themselves in the foot, and now the head coach is fired for it. But other than that, so far in week 13, I am 3-1. So let's go over the rest of the games. I'm gonna make this a quick one, guy. It is the holidays. I got family over. I'm gonna go, and it's just busy. So with that, guys, let's go through all my predictions and my best bets. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you followed me and you followed my bets last week and you bet them all single games, you made a profit. So like and subscribe, guys. I do this for free and I love it. But besides that, let's get it started. All right, well, let's get straight to it. The first week, like I said, I'm going to go through all these games a little quicker than usual. I still did my research, but I'm going to go quicker than usual because it is the holidays and I have family over and all that jazz. So let's get to the first game. That is the Colts versus the Patriots. The Colts being favored by 2.5 points and the over-under being 42.5. The Colts are coming off a loss to the Lions. They got blown out. Anthony Richardson is only throwing 47.1% completion rate. That's terrible. So the guy's not even getting to his wide receivers or anybody he's throwing to. He's getting to them less than half the time, which is terrible. Jonathan Taylor, even though he has over 700 yards, this doesn't look like vintage Jonathan Taylor. Does that look like to any of you guys? I think he might get 1,100 yards this year, probably 1,200. This does not look like vintage Jonathan Taylor, but he's better than average. He's good, so you see something they could rely on a bit there to be a workhorse. They still have some good wide receivers, but Downs is going to be out for the game. He's one of their better young guys, but they have Pierce and they have Pittman, so they're not without anything. And Anthony Richardson is most likely going to use his legs during this game as well. Their defense is ranked 27th in pass defense. Keep that in mind. Their pass defense is ranked 27th. And Richardson hasn't thrown an interception in 4 of the last 5 games, which is surprising because before he got benched by Flacco, he was throwing interceptions galore. And now that he's the starter, he hasn't thrown interception 4 out of the last 5 games. So that's pretty, he made a change in his game. But he's still not completing to his wide receivers not too well. The Patriots are coming off a blowout loss to the Dolphins. I'm glad that happened because I had the Dolphins. And the Patriots have an okay offense. They have 2 good tight ends in Hopper and Henry. And they have 2 decent wide receivers in Douglas and Bourne. So it's not too terrible. They're like below average weapons. They get Stevenson, the running back, who's okay. He's like an average to above average. And they have Gibson as well. So it's like an average above, or below average offense. But Drake May has added a spark to this team. They're putting up more points, better than Brissett. Their defense is 22nd ranked in passing defense. So I'm showing you a trend here. Both 6 secondaries for both these teams are not too great. The Colts have covered the spread in the 7 of their 8 games against AFC opponents. Colts are a good covering team. But all that, they're both secondaries are terrible. Both teams have decent weapons, and 4 of the Patriots' last 5 games have gone over the total. So I like the over 42.5. I think these teams are going to at least put up. I think the Colts could put at least 20 to 24 points, and I think the Patriots could get to 18 to 20 themselves. So with that, give me the over 42.5 in this game. All right, fellas, let's keep it rolling. And this game is the Chargers versus the Falcons. Chargers are favored by 1 point, the over-under being 47.5. I don't really like this game. I think the Chargers are pretenders, but I actually think the Falcons are even worse pretenders because the AFC South is garbage. So it's hard for me. This was a hard one to predict. The Falcons are on a 2-game losing streak and coming off of a bye, so they're getting some rest. Great offense. They have weapons on every level. They have Mooney, who's had a resurgence in his career after he left the god-awful Chicago Bears. And then they have Drake London. Both guys are above 700 yards receiving. Both guys are probably going to go over 1,000 yards each. Then they have Kyle Pitts at tight end, and then they have a good running back duo in B.J. Robinson, Tyler Algier, and they have some good interior linemen. So they have offense everywhere. But as I'm sure you guys know, if you've been watching my YouTube channel or anybody else, the Falcons have a god-awful pass rushing attack. They cannot get after the quarterback if their life depended on it. So that is their Achilles heel, and that is a bad one to have. They're 26th ranked in passing defense and 19th ranked in rushing. The Falcons have failed to cover the spread in the 10 of their last 12 games against the AFC, so that's pretty terrible. The Chargers are coming off a loss to Ravens. It was a close loss. They only lost by a touchdown, which I was surprised, but it was a good effort by the Chargers. They will be out with J.K. Dobbins. Now, if J.K. Dobbins plays that game against the Ravens, that could have been a different story. So the Chargers losing Dobbins, I think, is kind of a big deal. I think he's way better than Gus Edwards and Vidal, the other guy, or where the hell the third running back is. So losing him is a kind of a big loss. The Chargers offense has been surprising. I mean, especially the wide receiver McConkey. I didn't see this guy coming. I know he's a second-round pick, but I didn't think he was going to be hitting it off this fast, this well. But when you have Herbert, who's one of the best quarterbacks in this league, I mean, I guess that's expected. I think the Chargers are still 2 years away becoming a real threat. I had the Ravens on the other side against them last week, so I'm glad that came through for us. But if I had to, pick them between the Falcons, I think the Falcons are an even bigger pretender. They're in a terrible division. They barely beat the Eagles in week 2 or week 3, I believe, on just bad coaching decisions by the Eagles. And I think, Herbert will give enough time to eat up this secondary of the Falcons because the Falcons can't rush after the quarterback. So I think that gives Herbert enough time, and I think he's better than Cousins in my opinion. And I think that gives enough time to get the ball to Quentin Johnson. Johnson, please catch the ball. The guy has slippery hands, and it gives Herbert time to give the ball to McConkey. So I think the Falcons are going to put up a valiant fight, but I think the Chargers really good defense, and their protection will give them enough time for Herbert to win this game by like a field goal or so. So give me the Chargers to cover the 1 point. I'm going to keep this short and simple. I will always take Mike Tomlin as an underdog. I believe he covers that better than any other head coach in all football or in the last decade. The guy is a killer when he's an underdog by 3 or 3.5 points especially. So during this game, I think it's going to be actually pretty high scoring. I think the Bengals can score on the Steelers just a bit, but I think because the Bengals defense is not good whatsoever, I think Russell Wilson's going to have a really good day against the Bengals secondary. So all that being said, there's weapons galore, especially on the Bengals, but I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do enough to win this game. But also, I think Russell Wilson's going to have over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So put that in the bank, bet that. And I also think the Steelers will win outright, but take the points, take the +3. I think Steelers win this. I think it goes over the 47 points. And I think Russell Wilson throws over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Another game I'm going to keep short and simple. The Seahawks versus the Jets. Seahawks being favored by 1 point and the over-under being 42.5. Seahawks are on a 2-game winning streak. They're back in the mix to winning the NFC West. But their right guard, they're starting a new right guard. He's a rookie from the 6th round, so keep that in mind. The Jets are a little beat up too. The Jets are going to be out with their starting tackle, and Breece Hall, their star running back, is potentially out for this game. He's questionable, but it looks like he might be out. So keep in mind on that if you want to bet this game. The Seahawks have a bottom 5 rushing defense, so you really want Breece Hall in there if you want to bet on the Jets. But they have a good passing attack, the Seahawks. We all know all the weapons they have. They're using the slot receiver Smith more and more, which is good. And they still got Tyler Lockett, and they still got Metcalf, and they really need Metcalf to stay healthy. The rushing offense, you wish would be better with Walker and Charbonnet, but it's kind of one of the bottom 10 rushing offense, so you wish it would be better. So I come down to this. Who do you trust more, Geno Smith or Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers does not look like himself. He's having one of his tackles is out. Breece Hall is beat up, and they just look dysfunctional. The head coach got fired in the midseason, so I just cannot trust this Jets team. And it looks like the Seahawks are pitting some games together, and it looks like their defense is finally coming together and being a solid core. People were hyping up in the Seahawks defense in the beginning, but now they're doing better of late, the last 3 games. So with all that, I think Geno Smith wants to come back and beat the Jets anyways for them, let him go, and just kind of he didn't do nothing to the Jets. So I think this is going to be a revenge game for Geno. So give me the Seahawks to cover the 1 point, and I do like the under 42.5 in this game, but I think the Seahawks beating the Jets and covering the 1 point is the best bet. In this game, we're going all the way to Florida. We got the Houston Texans versus the Jaguars, with the Texans being favored by 3.5 and the over-under being 44. Houston's coming off a loss to the Titans. I had Titans plus the points, but not a good look for the Houston Texans. Now they've lost 3 out of the last 4 games, and their offensive line has been god awful. In their 4 games, Stroud has been sacked 17 times. 17 times. So I know Stroud doesn't have the numbers. It's because he doesn't have the numbers because his offensive line is garbage. He's getting sacked left and right. I believe he was sacked 8 or 9 games just 3 games ago or 4 games ago. In 1 game, he was sacked 8 times. So this offensive line is not so great. Jaguars are terrible as well. They're 2-9. Well, Doug Peterson, see you later. You're going to get fired. They haven't won a game in over a month. They're 26th in rushing defense, which is really good if you're Mixon at running back, if you have him in fantasy. And Trevor Lawrence is beat up. He's come in the game with a hurt shoulder. It's his non-throwing shoulder, but it still hurts. What if somebody lands on him? Boom, he's hurt again. What it comes down to is, do you trust the Jaguars to cover this spread? I just can't do it. I can't put my hard money on a team that is 2-9, which defense is terrible. It's disarray. The head coach knows he's going to get fired. So I just can't trust it. And plus, the road team has covered the spread in each of the last 6 games between the Texans and Jags. I think this is a great bounce back game for the Texans. They're on a bit of, they're stumbling, but they need to hold fast, and they need this win to win the division and keep ahead of the Colts. So give me the Texans to cover the 3.5. Give me Mixon as an anytime touchdown, and give me the over 44 in this game. But I believe the best bet is the Texans to cover the 3.5. And our next matchup, we have the overhyped Arizona Cardinals versus the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings being favored by 3.5 and the over-under being 45. Cardinals are coming off a loss to the Seahawks. I think the Cardinals only put up 6 points. Pretty pathetic. Arizona wants to run the ball. They just want to pound the ball with Connor and Benson and have Murray use his legs. I believe Murray's over 300 yards rushing himself as a quarterback. So they want to run a lot. But if you take the run away from them, like the Seahawks did to them, it's not really too great. I don't really trust their weapons. Do you trust their weapons? It's Marvin Harrison Jr., a rookie. Wilson, the other wide receiver guy, he is not good. And then it's McBride. Yes, you trust McBride. He's the only guy you probably trust. He's now becoming a top 10, top 5 tight end, if you will. So that's it. And then because they want to run. And the Vikings have the best rushing defense in the league. So I think the Cardinals are going to have a hard time rushing the ball against the Vikings. And I think that's going to that's just going to stymie and make the whole Arizona offense just stale. And I think Sam Darnold, he looked great against the Bears. So I think he's going to have another good game against a weaker defense in the Cardinals. So give me the Vikings to cover the 3.5, which I think is I think they're going to cover it pretty easily. This game is actually going to be a surprisingly good matchup. It's the Titans versus the Commanders, with the Commanders being favored by 6.5 points and the over/under being 44.5. Titans got a good win against the Texans. They look better in the last 3 games, actually. Will Levis has only thrown 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. 3 interceptions is not too good, but the way he was playing, that's actually not too bad. Washington is coming off a loss to the Cowboys, and they're on a 3-game losing streak. I told people, I put the Commanders on my fool's gold list, that eventually they would come down to earth. Their defense was not so great. They lost their best defensive lineman to injury. Daniels hurt his ribs. And other than Scary Terry and Robinson, the running back, are you really scared of anybody else? Maybe Zach Ertz, but Zach Ertz is 34 years old. But I don't think anybody's really scared of this offense besides Daniels and Daniels' legs. Titans are putting up good games. They're in it with every team in the last 4 games. They've won it. They have a great pass defense, and they have the 9th ranked rush defense. So their defense is really good. It's probably the only positive thing out of the Titans. And Titans, don't forget, still have Riley at wide receiver, Tyler Boyd at wide receiver, Spears and Pollard at running back. So they have an actually above average offense. It's that Will Levis has to play a clean game. Another just tidbit here, the Commanders' right tackle will be out, and Austin Eckler, the catching running back, will be out for this game too. So another weapon out for the Commanders, and the right tackle is out for the game as well. So I think the Titans will keep it close enough. I don't know if they win this game. I'll kind of lean that they can pull off an upset here. But I think Washington may pull off a win so they could stay in that last wild card spot. But I think that Titans keep it close enough, and they cover the spread. So give me the Titans to cover the 6 points. And we got the battle of the NFC South here. We got the Buccaneers versus the Panthers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers being favored by 6 points, and the over/under being 46.5. I think this will be a high-scoring game. I really do. Buccaneers got Mike Evans back, and Mike Evans just opens the field for everybody else. Their run game and Rachaad White and Irving. They also have helps out their great tight end in Cade Otton, who's a top 10, possibly top 5 tight end in this league, and it just helps the whole team out. But keep in mind that the right tackle, their best tackle, for the Buccaneers, he is questionable for the game, which is not good. Panthers are 2-2 in their last 4 games, and they almost upset the Chiefs last week. Man, that was so close. I was actually pulling for the Panthers, even though I had the Chiefs on the other end. I was really hoping the Panthers could pull that off. Since Bryce Young got implemented back in the starting lineup, they're averaging around 21 points a game, which doesn't sound a lot, but that's actually a really good from when the season started when Bryce Young was playing. So it looks like they're actually now more confident in Bryce Young, this whole team. Young has 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in the last 4 games. And the Panthers do have Adam Thielen back, and they have Jonathan Brooks, the other running back. So they had him back last week, and they put up a valiant fight against the Chiefs. And the Buccaneers, well, like I said, they will also be out with their starting safety. So that's another weapon down for the Buccaneers. And like I said, their best offensive line is questionable. So I already told you guys, I think this could be a sneaky win by the Panthers. I really do. But I'm not brave enough to take the Panthers to win this game. But I think the Panthers have enough juice. They have Hubbard at running back. They have Brooks, the other guy. They have Adam Thielen back, and they have their good rookie wide receiver there. And Bryce Young does look better. So I think the Panthers could make a sneaky win here. But I'm going to take the points with the Panthers. But I think the best bet for this game is the over 46.5. I think both teams have a lot of weapons. It's going to be in the Carolina, so I think Carolina could keep it close enough and score a few more points than people expect. But I could see Tampa Bay, winning with the game-winning field goal or a touchdown. But I think the over 46.5 is the best play in this game. We're going to good old New Orleans for this matchup. We got the New Orleans Saints versus the Rams. The Rams being favored by 3 points and the over-under being 48.5. Rams are coming off a bad blowout loss to the Eagles, but the Rams still have a great offense. We all know what it is. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, and Kyren Williams at running back. So they have weapons to galore. And Matthew Stafford, who's still a very great great quarterback in this league. Their defensive linemen, their young defensive linemen, and the linebacker Verse, they could get after the quarterback. Did you see Verse push the left tackle from the Eagles? My Philadelphia Eagles, he pushed him like a rag doll. He was probably offsides and he caught the left tackle off guard, but he still pushed him like he was just a sack of potatoes. So they have pieces everywhere, the Rams. It's just not the offense. They have a good front seven as well. The Saints are on a 2-game winning streak, very surprising. Since they signed MVS, when they lost Rashid Shaheed, they lost their guy who could stretch the field. So they didn't sign nobody. David Carr got hurt. They had some backup quarterbacks playing in his place who were terrible. But when he finally came back, they signed MVS, another guy who could stretch the field, and that has done wonders for the Saints. Go figure. Now, MVS is not as good as Rashid Shaheed, but I think it just speaks to David Carr's game. He likes to have MVS to stretch the field, and if he can't get to him, he could throw it to his tight end in Hill, or he could give it to his running back in Alvin Kamara. They also get their other running back, Jamal Williams. I believe he's questionable for this game. So if they get him back, they get a good goal line running back. They're like I said, they're using Taysom Hill at quarterback, running back, and tight end. So keep an eye on him for an anytime touchdown. He's been really he gets a lot of chances when they get to the red zone. So I think there's going to be a bunch of points in this game. You got the Rams, who could still win the NFC West and possibly get a the last wild card spot. But the NFC West is more probably their best bet to get into the playoffs. And the Saints have a small window to win the NFC South. So this is still doable for both teams. So I think both teams are going to try their best to win one of these games. They're going to do their best to win this game. So I think they're going to put up a lot of points. So give me the over 48.5 in this game, which I think is going to be actually a really good game. And our last afternoon game, we have my Philadelphia Eagles versus the Ravens. I think it's the best game of the week. Baltimore's favored by 2.5 points and the over-under's 50.5. Eagles are on a roll. They are on a 7-game winning streak. They have 2 players in Hurts and Barkley who are in the MVP dark horse race. I don't think either guys are probably going to win it. It's probably going to go to Lamar Jackson or Allen, but they have 2 guys in the top 5, top 10 for sure MVP race. They're both getting MVP votes. Both these guys on the Eagles. Darius Slay is out for this game, so keep that in mind. He's the starting corner for the Eagles, and Devontae Smith, the other star wide receiver, is questionable to get into this game. That's going to be a big one to watch. But everything's rolling for the Eagles. Their defense on both rush and passing defense are in the top 10. They have the number 1 rushing attack on offense. There's weapons galore on each side. And Carter, the defensive lineman, I don't know if you guys seen the last 2 games. That guy's a beast. He's an animal. He takes all these double teams and just lets everybody else get freed up to get after the quarterback. And speaking about defensive ends, Brandon Graham is out for the year for the Eagles as well. That was kind of a bad loss because even though he's playing at 36 years old, he was still getting after the quarterback. So that's a big loss for the Eagles. So keep that in mind if you want to bet the Eagles. Ravens have a killer offense as well. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, the guy's having a fantastic year. Zay Flowers, Bateman, and they have a good tight end mix in Mark Andrews and Likely. So they have a good offense as well. But they have the absolutely worst passing defense known to man. Anybody could pass on this team. A JV football team could pass on that defense, okay? That's how bad it is. So that's their Achilles heel right there. But, a big but. Lamar Jackson is 23-1 against NFC teams. I'll repeat that. Lamar Jackson is 23-1 against NFC teams. That is unbelievable. This guy just runs NFC teams. So keep that in mind if you want to bet the Eagles, okay? So with all that being said, I'm going to be a homer. Eagles, I think, overall have the better team. You want to talk about rushing? The Eagles have the best rushing attack. I don't know anybody who wouldn't. A.J. Brown is better than the whole receiving core of the Baltimore Ravens, okay? And if Devontae Smith plays, I take him over Zay Flowers, okay? We have a good tight end, Dallas Goedert. We have the better offensive line by a mile. Eagles have arguably the best offensive line in the league when we have the better overall defense than the Ravens. Ravens can't, their pass defense is god-awful. They do have a good rush to offense, I'll give them that, but they haven't played an offensive line like the Eagles, okay? So I'll take Lamar, I'll admit Lamar Jackson is better than Jalen Hurts, and I will take Barkley over Henry, okay? And if we're talking about right now, I'll take Barkley over Henry. Henry is the bruiser, but Barkley has that 70-yard boom to the touchdown. He could just break one out of nowhere and just score a touchdown, okay? So give me the all-around better team. I'm going to take the plus the 3 points. I'm not going to say money line, even though I think they're going to win outright, but I'll take Eagles plus 3. I also like the over 50.5. I do think it's going to be like a 28-24 kind of game. And I also like Hurts using his legs and getting us an anytime touchdown. And I think Barkley is a good bet to get an anytime touchdown as well. So with all that, give me the Eagles plus the 3 points and the over 50.5. You know, in our Sunday night football game, this looked like it could have a lot of potential. But now that the 49ers are, beat up, they're falling down, they're stumbling down the stairs, it doesn't look like it's going to be that appealing as it was before. But I think it's still going to be a good game. Buffalo's favored by 6 points, and the over-under is 45.5. 49ers are coming for a loss to the Packers. They're on a 2-game losing streak. This team is just beat up. They're beat up, or their secondary is beat up. CMC does not look like what he did like last year. Ayuk's out. Deebo Samuel's a bit beat up. Fred Warner's beat up. Nick Bosa's beat up. Brock Purdy's beat up. So this team is beat up. Keep in mind, big, Brock Purdy does not play this game. If Brock Purdy doesn't play this game, I like the Bills to cover the 6.5. I'll just get straight to it. If he does not play this game, hammer Bills to cover the 6 points, because I think that's why it's at 6 right now. I do not trust that guy Allen. The way he looked against the Packers was god awful. Big news. The 49ers are without their starting left tackle, and he is arguably the best left tackle in the game. And without him, their record is they have a losing record without Trent Williams. So if he's out, man, that's just adding more coal to the fire, because he's a big reason why their offense is as good as it is. Bills are still firing on all cylinders. They're on a 6-game winning streak. Coleman is questionable, so if he plays, him and Amari Cooper, that's a nice tandem. Kincaid is out as well. They're tight end, so Knox is going to be the starting tight end. But another game Josh Allen has with Amari Cooper, building a rapport. So once they build that relationship, it's going to be hard to stop this offense. I'll keep it simple. Like I said, if Brock Purdy doesn't play, I like the Bills to cover the 6 points. Even if Brock Purdy plays, it's hard not to take that 6 points with the Bills, because Trent Williams, or left tackle, being out is really big. But if Brock Purdy does play, I like the over in this game at 44.5. And I did see in a report that Shanahan said that Brock Purdy was going to play. So if you're going to bet on this game before the game starts, keep in mind that Brock Purdy is probably going to start according to his head coach. So if he does start, I like the over 44.5 easily. But I also like the Bills to cover the 6 points on a beat-up San Francisco 49ers team. All right, guys, those were my predictions for the Sunday games. If you wanted to watch my predictions for the Monday Night Football game, I will put that on my TikToks or my YouTube Shorts. I gave my Thanksgiving picks on TikTok, and I went 3-1, just a reminder. So let's get to my best bets. These are the best bets I'm personally betting. I like them a really lot. Went 2-1 last week, and like I said, I had a great winning week in general. So let's just get to my best bets for week 13. And my first best bet is Tampa Bay and the Panthers to go over 46.5. Tampa Bay got back Mike Evans, and that just opens the field for everybody else. K-Dot and the true running backs and White and Irving and their other McMillan, their other wide receiver, and Mayfield, Baker Mayfield. That guy gives 110% every time he plays. Even if his offensive line's hurt, he'll go run 10, 20 yards. He'll fight for those first downs. And the Panthers, Bryce Young is looking even better now that he got his starting job back. And they have Adam Thielen back at wide receiver. They have their good rookie wide receiver as well. And they have that nice running back core and Chuba Hubbard leading the way. So they have some weapons, and I think they can at least put up almost 20 points, because don't forget, Tampa Bay's passing defense is not great, and now they're without one of their starting safeties for this game. So give me the over 46.5 in the Panthers versus Buccaneers game. And in my second game, I like the Houston Texans to cover 3.5 points. I think right now they're on a 3-game losing streak, so the stock is low. But when the stock is low, that's when you buy it. The Texans know they need a win so they can win this division, and the Jaguars are just a disarray. Peterson knows he's gonna get fired. Trevor Lawrence is going to be playing on a sprained shoulder. It's his non-throwing shoulder, but it takes one hit to the ground, and crappy Mac Jones is going to come in. So I do not trust the Jaguars whatsoever. So I think the Houston Texans are primed for a bounce back win, and I can see them winning this by at least 6 points. So give me the Texans to cover the 3.5. And now I have about 2 best bets. Now I say 2 because this all pertains if Brock Purdy does play. If Brock Purdy does play, I like the over 44.5 in the Bills 49ers game. I think it's at 44.5 because nobody knows if he's going to officially start. And I think if he does officially start, I think that number is going to go up. Now pay attention to the weather. It's going to be like 28 degrees with some snow flurries, but I don't think it's going to be like that heavy, iconic Buffalo Bills, all that snow. It's going to be some flurries, but it's going to be cold. But I think how beat up the 49ers defense is, I think Allen could put up at least 24 to 27 points on them. And I think the 49ers, if Brock Purdy is playing, could get at least 14 to 20 points himself, or even a little more than that. So give me the over in the Bills and 49ers game if Brock Purdy is playing. Now I'm giving you guys another best bet because I'm not sure if Brock Purdy is going to be starting that Bills game. So on this other best bet, I like the Rams to cover the 3 points against the Saints. I think this is going to be a shootout, and I kind of lean towards the over in that game at 49.5. But I think the Rams they know they need to keep in the mix with the rest of the teams, the NFC West, with the Seahawks, with the Cardinals. There's a good chance the Cardinals and the 49ers both lose, and if the Rams win, they could just get a game up on those teams. So I think the Rams have more firepower than the Saints, and I think they win this game. I think I can see them winning by a touchdown. So give me the Rams to cover the 3 points against the Saints. Well, guys, those are my predictions and my best bets for Week 13. So far in the week, we're 3-1 on the Thanksgiving games. If you want to check those out, that's on my TikTok or my YouTube Shorts. So we're 3-1. Detroit didn't cover for us, or we would have been 4-0. Thank you, Detroit. But hey, I like these predictions and I like these best bets. Last week was a great profitable week for me. If you followed me, I hope it was a great profitable week for you. If you have any games you like, just put them down in the comments. Any information I miss, put them down in the comments. More information for all of us makes more money for all of us. We want to be in the profit. We want to be in the green. So with that, guys, please like and subscribe. Small channel. I love doing this. So hopefully we win some money at this one. And guys, I will always see you in the next one.